Hi, I'm Tim Alden with Alden School of Leather Trades. Today's Tuesday tip, I'm going to show you how to make a simple little fringe tassel. It's just a simple project, but the fringe cutting process is the same that I'd use whether it's a pair of rodeo chaps, fringe for a purse. It's the same process and it'll transfer over. So I got a little piece of leather cut out here for it. I got my hardware that I got from Ohio Travel Bag. I use a lot of their hardware for purses and bags. Check them out, they're on Instagram, and they also have a website. You can call and get a catalog that has all the hardware you would ever need for bags. So anyway, just got a regular Olfa rotary cutter and a nice ruler here. And so I'm gonna start out by drawing a line of where I would like to cut my fringe to. I'm just gonna put it approximately 1/2 inch, 5/8 from the top, and then we'll get started here. I always cut my fringe from right to left. If you're left-handed, it would be the other way. And the reason being, we're just gonna eyeball the distance, and it's gonna be somewhere in between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch for most pieces. And you'll see that the ruler just glides right along the leather. You just hold it down and move over to the side there. If we were cutting fringe and we were to try and measure out each piece of fringe, one, that would take a lot of thought and time, and you'll see that this leather pops up and you can't slide your ruler, so you would have to pick up your ruler over top the fringe. And if you had a lot of fringe to cut, say on a pair of rodeo chaps or working chaps, that'd be strenuous to do that every single time. I can usually cut a pair of rodeo chaps in about 45 minutes to an hour, and so that tells you how fast this process is. Main thing is you want to have good pressure holding your leather down, and you want your rotary cutter to be square. If you tip it off to the side, it'll undercut one way or the other. So you want to have your rotary blade square, and you want to hold your material down. Otherwise the leather will move under the blade and you'll get jagged edges. So we'll see if that's enough to go into that piece of hardware. We'll just roll it up tight on itself. Should be plenty. Yep, so we know where we need to go. Just gonna cut the excess off. Throw that off to the side. So once we have that cut to length, we're just gonna go ahead and put a little bit of double-sided tape here. That way when we roll it up, it doesn't come undone. We'll stick that in our piece of hardware. We're going to go ahead and mark where we want our holes for our set screws with an awl. Okay, so this leather's pretty thin, so I'm just going to go ahead and push my awl through it. It's pretty soft, and it'll open up those holes to where our screw can go through. Sometimes if the leather's a little tougher, I'll run it over to my sewing machine and I'll just use the flywheel to run the needle through, and it gets a nice precise hole through there. You just want to make sure that is opened up enough to where you can get the screws through for your hardware. Now that that's good and opened up, we'll put that back in here. Turn it until we can see the holes. Make sure those are good and lined up. So now we're ready to put the screws in. We're going to put a little bit of Loctite on this screw. And this is probably the most difficult part, is getting these little screws in here without stripping it out. Get started there. And the tiniest little Phillips head screwdriver. The main thing is you just want to hold down solid so it doesn't strip it out. So there you have it. Cool little tassel that you can hang on your purse hardware or a keychain, and it'll build skills as far as cutting fringe, and you don't have a lot of leather invested. Hope you like these videos. Don't forget to like our page. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.